So I'm just going to start at the top and just hop through them. Wash a Chanel jacket, we talked about. Wash leather pants. Okay. I'm going to tell you the official word and my word on washing leather pants. The official word is that you can't. Many people think you can hand wash them. I'll be honest with you. I have thrown leather and suede in the washing machine. I would be very comfortable washing it in the kitchen sink. I'd be less comfortable with the washing machine, but I've done it and it's been okay. The trick is when you're done, use a very gentle soap, like soap flakes or something. And when you're done, just hit them with a leather conditioner. Wooden laundry racks, I love them. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. I have about 8. My favorite one that's easy to access is at the Container Store. I think it's $40, but it's all wood. I love it. If you want like a slightly nicer one, get one from the Amish. You can actually buy from the Amish on the internet, which I think is hysterical, but you can. And those are my favorite.
Is it a different type of wood, or what's unique about it?
It's not. It's the way that they're put together. A lot of the less expensive ones, when they get wet, the dowels shrink and they fall apart. For some reason, that one from the Container Store, like, and the cheaper ones are like $30. That's what's funny. I mean, if you buy one, and I don't want to bash Target because, they're local and I love them. But if you buy one at Target, when it gets wet, the dowels shrink and they fall apart. For some reason, that Container Store one, I think that is the greatest. That's the one I use most. And I actually have one in the store. That's the one I use in the store, is the one from the Container Store. I love it. But if you want like a bigger one, or you want, one that's a little prettier, order one from the Amish. They're about $100, but they're beautiful. Wool balls for the dryer and how many to use. I use 2. You can use more if you want. If you want to add scent, only add it to 1. Don't put, it's too much if you put it on all of them. Oh, down comforters. Oh, this is great. The trick to a down comforter is you have to use a front-loading washer. So if you don't have a front-loading washer, take some cookies and some wine and go to a friend's house, because you really need a front-loading washer, because down floats. And if you put it in a top-loading washer, it just doesn't sink down in enough. Use it with soap. The thing is, pillows and comforters are covered in cotton. They can go straight into the dryer. Just toss them in the dryer and add 3 tennis balls and dry them. You're good. If it's a down sleeping bag or it's your down parka, you take it out and throw it across the drying rack or on a hanger and let it dry. Then throw it in the dryer for 15 minutes on air fluff, which is no heat, with tennis balls to beat the loft back into the down. Because down is totally safe in the washer. I mean, think about the geese. The geese were with the cashmere sheep. They were all outside and they all got rained on. So there's no reason to be afraid with water with them. Oh, I've never used fabric softener. Okay, I never use fabric softener. If you come to laundry camp, you find out that I hate fabric softener more than squirrels, which is a lot. The vintage tablecloths, they have those set-in stains. What those are, it's actually like white wine or something like that set in there. It was clear, so you didn't know it was there, and it oxidized. So it's kind of like rust, but it's not the same. You use the liquid soap and a little bit of oxygen bleach, pour hot water through it, and it comes right out. I've done it to tablecloths where we know the stain is at least 80 years old, and it came out right away. The smell of teenage sons t-shirts, oxygen bleach. The funniest thing, and I keep wanting to put it on my website and I forget, I had a customer once tell me that oxygen bleach made it smell like her son was at grandma's, which I think is a riot. The detox process for clothes, just switch to better stuff and wash. You will wash it out. It'll take a few washes, but you'll wash it out, and it saves you a step, because even though laundry is like the most fun thing to do in your house, you don't want to spend a lot of extra time doing it. So just wash your clothes and it'll wash out, no problem. Vodka, we talked about. Where do you get laundry soap? Okay. What do you think about woolite? I have seen woolite bleach color. I have a tragic story that's actually in my book about a customer that I've had for 25 years who washed her husband's talus for her grandson to use at his bar mitzvah. And her husband, the talus was very significant. Her husband's parents had bought it for him the year Israel became its own country, and they had brought it back to him. And so when he used it, and then she wanted her grandson to use it because her husband was disabled and wasn't going to be able to attend the bar mitzvah. She thought she was going to be safe and wash it in Woolite. It bleached all of the blue out of the talus. And I spent about 17 hours restoring it because, and I will not do anyone's laundry, but you throw a grandmother story at me and I'm a sucker. So I restored the talus, but so please don't use Woolite. Um, Washing linen, washing fur, we did that. Um, Perfume on a fur coat, use vodka. Just spray the devil out of it with vodka and you'll be good to go. There's a customer who comes into the store and she always wants to give me a hug. But when she leaves, I always smell like Estee Lauder's Beautiful. So I go in the stock room and I spray myself with vodka to get that out. And it's fine. And, you know, it's funny, Andy Warhol was buried with Estee Lauder's Beautiful. And I think that's the appropriate place for it to be. How much bleach to use? A tablespoon if you're going to do it in the laundry. And I use a tablespoon if I'm going to make it into a solution to dip. It's much more concentrated, but I want that. So I use a tablespoon even in a bowl. If you have a front load washer, you put the soap right on top of the clothes. Your husband over soaps. This is great because now you can tell your husband that he's wrong. I'm sorry. That's the gift of the holidays. Is there a reason to use cold water? No, because it isn't warm enough to activate anything. Laundry stripping, don't do that. Smelly towels, we've talked about it. Wine, blood, and berries, all oxygen bleach, and you're all good to go. Does the soap go into the washing machine with the wine garment? Yes, you still use soap. The oxygen bleach in the bowl was going to lift out the wine. The soap is going to wash the garment. So yeah, you still do. Okay, Jen Curry, I love you too. Leather, we talked about it. Thank you for saying it's helpful and fun. Laundryevangelist.com. Roasted asparagus covered in olive oil on a silk dress. First of all, I will send my mailing address because I'd like to be invited for dinner. But
the woman who posed that is a fabulous cook.
Okay, so I definitely want to be invited for dinner. One of my best friends lives in San Francisco, so when I'm coming out, I'll let you know. But just use vinegar and water. You can actually, I will tell you, because you're in the kitchen, if you are wearing it and you are like, oh my gosh, what do I do right now because I'm having Patrick over for dinner? You can actually spray it with vodka. I don't usually tell this. I tell bartenders this because if they spill something on someone or someone spills, vodka can be used like a dry cleaning agent. You could actually put let's say a kitchen towel, this is a cloth, you could put it on the inside of the dress and you could sponge vodka straight through it and it actually will completely remove the stain. You won't even have to wash it. The reason I don't tell people that is because they get carried away with it and it won't work on everything, but it will work on like olive oil, like food stains. It won't work on motor oil and it won't work on other things. And people get this idea, oh, I can just use it all the time, and it doesn't work, but it will work on olive oil or butter. Vodka, why is it better than rubbing alcohol? Oh gosh, that's a good one. And nobody has ever asked that before. They're actually a different compound. Alcohol, ethanol, methanol. Those are the three. Alcohol's one, ethanol's two, methanol's, no. Alcohol's one, methanol's two, ethanol's three. Vodka is an ethanol, alcohol is an alcohol. So vodka actually has a different oxygen content. It makes it work better than rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is great for ink, but vodka is better for other oils because the molecules, I mean, it gets really complicated, but there's more oxygen, so the molecules are smaller, and that's why it breaks through better. That is all of the questions. I'll answer anything else though, because this is fun and you all are fun.
I know, I love the lightning round. That was
Yeah, no, I'm like, and it's like, haha. I do want to tell you one more thing, and you can buy this. Do you have a Mont Blanc pen store? You're bound to have a Mont Blanc pen store in San Francisco. Is there a pen store though? Okay, they sell this. You can also, I mean, it's on my website. I think it's on the Amadex website. Amadex. Here we go. There it is. It is a stain remover. When nothing else works, use Amadex. It will actually remove Sharpie or dry erase marker. It's the most amazing thing. Martha Stewart name checked it. She named her 50 favorite cleaning products Only 2 of them were brand names, and 1 of them was Amedex. It's unique. There's nothing else like it on the market. But I always say it's your very last resort. The reason it's your very last resort is not because it's dangerous, but because it's quite expensive. Um, this bottle, it doesn't seem expensive when I tell you it's like $10, but it's an ounce. And it, I mean, you can use it sparingly, but it's still expensive. So it's kind of the last, it's always my last resort just because of the price. It is great to keep in your office desk though, because sometimes you can dab stains out in the moment and it's super. What about Wine Away? Wine Away is just a very, very expensive oxygen bleach and water. Just buy oxygen bleach. You can buy about 3 pounds of oxygen bleach for what 1 bottle of Wine Away costs. And 1 bottle of Wine Away is just about enough to do 1 spill. Well, thank you. You are amazing too. How about sequins? Okay, I don't know who you are, but I like you. The trick to sequins is hand wash them or put them in a mesh bag. If it's just a few sequins, toss it in a mesh bag. If it's all sequins, hand wash it. The reason to hand wash it is it doesn't crush them. They will safely go through the washer, but when you get it out, you spend as much time reorienting the sequins as you would have if you just hand washed it. So just hand wash it. It's super easy, but use soap. 50-50 vinegar and water. Actually, shoot, I should have told you. Anytime I say vinegar, I meant vinegar and water. I never use straight vinegar. I always use the 50-50. So sorry about that.
So that's going back to if you're going to put a full cup of vinegar in your wash, it's half vinegar, half.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, if you're going to put a full cup in, it's straight vinegar. But when you have that spray bottle of vinegar and water, like you're going to spray the underarms, or you're going to spray the collar or the cuffs, or you're going to use it to remove oil, it's 50 vinegar, 50 water. When it's in the spray bottle, it's always 50-50.
Got it. But if directly into your washer, then
it's straight vinegar, 1 cup. And get the cheapest you can get. Do not buy cleaning vinegar. It's too expensive and it's no different.
And it's the same as you were saying, if you load all your clothes in and just pour it on the top versus putting it into the basin before you put any clothes in.
Yeah, it's the same either way. And I always throw the clothes in first because I don't ever know if I'm going to have a full load or a partial load. So I put the clothes in first because then I can kind of see how much I've got. But if you want to put it in first, like, you have 3 kids and your husband and the load's going to be full, just put it in first. Do we ever need to clean the washer itself? Yes, and you can actually just do that with vinegar and a pound of borax. You dump a gallon of vinegar, like a whole gallon of vinegar, and a pound of borax in your washing machine, run it on the longest, hottest cycle, and it'll be clean. In the dryer, this is really funny, but it totally works. Take 2 towels, saturate them with vinegar, and toss them in the dryer and run it. The vinegar will create vinegar steam, and it will steam all the gunk off the walls of the dryer, and the towels, as they tumble, will wipe it off.
And the new washers, again, I'm all new to laundry here within Shelter in Place. And after 40 loads, it tells you that you have to clean your washer.
Yeah, and then you just do it with vinegar and water. Just put vinegar in it. You'll be much happier. And really, you don't have to do it that often, but you probably will have to do it to get it to shut the button.
Yeah, the light to go off.
Yeah. Is it best to separate lights and darks? That I separate whites, black, that's 2 loads. The 3rd load is blue, green, and purple, and it can be mint green, hunter green, baby blue, navy blue. And then the 4th one is red, orange, yellow, and it could be like pink or it could be burgundy. But I separate that way, and then I do a load of activewear because of the oxygen bleach. Do I have a brand of washer and dryer that I like? Yes and no. What I like is a front-loading washing machine that lets me control the spin and the temperature. And as far as dryer, I think you get the most basic one you can find. I do not like steam in the dryer. It's just one more thing to break. And the thing is, if you throw a wet towel in the dryer, guess what happens? You get steam. So I don't think that's necessary. I mean, if you have it, it's a nice thing, but I wouldn't buy it. As far as a brand, I like the brand that you can buy locally because if you need to get it serviced, you can. Um, some of the more rare European brands, first of all, they have a very long wash cycle, which I don't like because European washers operate slightly differently. But the other problem is sometimes when you have to order them in, it isn't easy to get them serviced. So I would rather have a really great Maytag that I can get serviced easily as opposed to like a more boutique brand that is difficult when I need to have a service because quite frankly, they're all going to do the same thing.
Patrick, is there anything that you wouldn't launder?
Good question. Believe it or not, yes. I would not launder the covers on the cushions of my sofa because they have the zipper in the back, so you can. I open the zipper and I put a towel inside if I need to blot through. What I found out, I had a business partner once who is an interior designer, and very often fabric is dry cleaned or laundered before it is put on the sofa. If you can't wash the whole thing, meaning you can't wash the back and the arms, if you wash the cushions, they may turn out a different color. I actually had a sofa, and so that's the rule that way. The sofa that my husband lays on, you know, everybody has that one. I actually had the sides of it upholstered in leather and the cushions upholstered in velvet so that I could take them off and wash them.
It's a la the linen that you were talking about before. If you have a matching top and bottom, always put them in together. Same
Exactly.
with the couch. Oh, that's
Right.
a great tip.
Yeah.
So you got the arms in leather so that you could launder it.
The arms in the back are leather, and then the bench is one cushion, and then there's 5 cushions across the back, and they're velvet, cotton velvet, so I can throw them in the washing machine because he lays on it all the time. And you know, I mean, there's wine and chips and who knows. I don't go over there, so I don't know. But I do know that periodically I take it off and wash it.
Maybe final question, what would you consider to be a perfect holiday gift that is in the laundering line?
Okay, if I were going to give somebody the perfect holiday laundry gift, you know, without pre-ordering them Laundry Love, available March 30th, I'd put together a little kit for them and I'd buy them some soap flakes. And, you know, the thing is, if you wanted, like, if you didn't want to spend, you know, soap flakes are $22 a pound and a pound is 90 loads for anybody who was curious. But if you didn't want to spend that, what I would do is I'd buy the pound because it just comes in a little bag and I'd separate it into 2 or 3 bags. I'd buy some soap flakes, some oxygen bleach, and a horsehair brush. And that's like, you know, I don't know, $40. It's less than $50. And then I'd get a couple of wool balls and I would go to, you know, the hardware store, wherever you want to buy them. And I'd buy the 3 spray bottles and I'd fill them vinegar and water, rubbing alcohol, vodka. And I'd give somebody the whole little kit. If you wanted to buy something smaller, like more of a stocking stuffer gift, I would give somebody the horsehair brush because the horsehair brush, I mean, somebody who uses the big orange detergent uses the big orange detergent. They're already using it, but they don't have a horsehair brush. So that would be what I would do. And then if you want to get more splurgy, I mean, I would start adding, you know, a drying rack or mesh bags. You know, I would build the gift as large as you wanted to. But I think if you gave somebody some flakes and a brush and maybe some oxygen bleach, I mean, it's a great little starter set, and then they can add the products that they need. Because, you know, if it's somebody who doesn't have any athleisure, you maybe don't even have to buy them the oxygen bleach, you know?
There's a question, how am I using, oh yes, how do you use the
I scrub with them, you know? I mean, the difference between this and this, it's the same brush. It's just how big is it? This one, like this is what I use when I scrub the hem of a wedding dress or when I scrub the collars or something big. This is what I use when I use on stains. I get it wet because when it gets wet, it gets softer, and I rub it across a bar of laundry soap, and then I scrub the stain with it. You will never scrub a hole with this brush, no matter how you use it. It's a great little tool. There is no substitute. A toothbrush is not a substitute. You need the horsehair brush. So it's like, this is probably the first thing I would buy if I were buying a gift, actually.
Well, Patrick, I think it speaks volumes because we had almost everyone stay on for the
thanks.
questions. This has been so enlightening and a lot of fun. So thank you. And to everyone still on, check out laundryevangelist.com. And yeah.
Thanks. And will you send everybody my email so if they have questions, they can?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
For everyone who's on, I will send that out, and I suspect we will probably have either the full kit and caboodle or spliced pieces of the video also available on replay. So
yes, we'll figure out a book event. That'd be super fun.
Well, once the book comes out, that would be really awesome to have you back. Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be fun. I'll just volunteer myself back. I'll invite myself back because you all are fun.
I love it. All right. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you so much.
Line.
Happy holiday.